hardworking young woman is found bleeding in the street.
This is Gwinnett County 911.
He thought it was just a pile of trash until he saw the legs and then blood.
Oh my God.
First responders struggle to put the pieces together.
There were 4 casings found at the crime scene.
What happened and who could be the cause behind all this?
Was she killed by a jealous lover?
She had been previously unfaithful.
Or by a stranger with an obsessive delusion?
She had a great body and she made great money dancing.
Can the police bring her killer to justice?
He tells them the same story that he had told everyone.
When we asked him if he knew that he shot her, he nodded.
September 12, 2020. It's early Saturday morning in Beaufort, Georgia, a suburban bedroom community of almost 20,000.
Beaufort, Georgia is about 45 minutes northeast of Atlanta.
Beaufort gives you a nice small town feel, but still close to the city.
It's a very upscale area without all of the hustle and bustle of the inner city.
It's the last place you expect to find someone lying in the middle of the street.
This is Gwinnett County 911. You can please try your medical.
The 911 call came in approximately at 5:11 in the morning.
There's someone like on the road, like laid down, and there's like blood on the ground.
The 911 operator is doing their best to calm him down, but he is in full panic mode.
The caller explains that he had just turned into the subdivision where he lives when he saw something in the road.
The caller states that he originally thought it was a pile of trash on the ground.
But as he pulled up closer, he saw legs and then realized that what he was looking at was a body.
Is it a male or female?
I have no idea. Like I drove by, and like I told him.
The 911 operator dispatches police and paramedics to the caller's location.
When paramedics arrive on the scene, they're able to tell that it's a young African-American woman.
But unfortunately, there's nothing they can do for her.
She has a gunshot wound to her head.
First responders are able to then identify her as 20-year-old Shakia Smith.
Shakia had always lived life to the fullest.
Shakia Smith was someone that was carefree, always smiling.
She loved life, she loved her family. Everywhere she went, she just brought smiles and laughter to the group. She was just a ball of life.
She was also ambitious.
She had goals of going to college and even owning her own home.
She really had a vision for what she wanted her life to look like.
But she soon discovered that pursuing her dreams required money.
She worked a lot of different fast food jobs. But Shakia realized that that was not going to be enough for her to live the type of life that she wanted.
So she found a more lucrative career: exotic dancing.
In Atlanta, that is a quick route for women who are beautiful to make money.
So she decided to take that route to get to her goals a lot quicker.
For Shakia, this was only a stepping stone on the path to her future.
This was not at all a long-term plan for Shakia. Shakia had planned on using the money that she got from dancing to pay for college so that she could really start to work towards her goals.
Soon, she was making good money.
Shakia was really good at it. Not only was she a good dancer, but she was also very charismatic. She had the perfect personality to do this job, and so she became very successful at it.
And it was through her work that she met the equally successful Moses Dial.
He was known for not just promoting, but also producing music videos.
Moses was a jack of all trades. He did a little bit of music videos, club promotions. He just knew how to get to the money.
He is about the life that Shakia is looking to have.
And he was only 25 years old.
Moses was tall, dark, and handsome. He was smart. He was funny. He had a military background. He was stable.
Hey, I saw you out there.
Shakia introduced herself, and the chemistry was undeniable.
They just hit it off really quickly.
Soon, Moses and Shakia began seeing each other outside of the club.
Shakia and Moses' relationship really progressed.
They move in together, but not in a traditional sense. They move from place to place, staying at different hotels. They're living the nightlife. They're out and about.
They really enjoyed that lifestyle.
But now, Shakia is lying dead on the street, and a peaceful Atlanta suburb has become a crime scene.
Police questioned the driver who called 911 after seeing the body in the street, hoping he might have seen the shooter fleeing the scene.
Hey, did you see anything?
But he only caught a glimpse of the body and doesn't even know that it's a woman.
No, I got here fine. I drove past. I thought that he was like a pile of trash. Okay.
But then he saw the blood.
Okay. I stopped and told him.
Officers hope they have better luck with the residents of the neighborhood.
Police began knocking on the doors and questioning the neighbors, hoping that someone had witnessed what happened.
No one they talked to saw anything.
But one neighbor states that he did hear about 4 to 5 gunshots before the 911 call came in.
I heard the gunshots about right after 5 in the morning. And then after that, it was like a car driving like really fast.
"20-year-old Shakia Smith had big plans for the future.
She wanted to attend college, and she envisioned buying a home for herself. She knew what she wanted her life to be.
She turned to exotic dancing as a way to earn money.
Particularly here in Atlanta, a lot of young ladies see it as an easy way to make quick money and use it as a way to catapult their way to the next thing that they want to do.
She was young, so she wasn't going to do it long. She just needed enough to save up for college.
And while working in the club scene, she met the person she wanted to build her future with. 25-year-old Moses Dial.
He was known for not just promoting, but also producing music videos, and he would bring on videographers, and he would bring on dancers.
But now her dreams have died in the middle of a quiet suburban street.
Shakia's body's just dumped, and she's just laying there, covered in blood.
The blood was still wet, and so the officers knew that this must have happened recently.
Police believe she died from a gunshot wound to the head.
On the ground near the body, the officers find 4 shell casings.
Right in the middle of the blood right here. Oh. That's a quarter of a zone. Yeah, it's a tiny little case.
They figured it might have been done with a 22.
Canvassing the neighborhood in search of witnesses provides few details about the shooting.
We had no witnesses that actually saw the incident.
There was a few neighbors who said that they had actually heard gunshots.
How many shots did you hear? I will say 4 or 5.
And then, one neighbor heard the sound of a car speeding away.
Detectives asked the neighbor about the sound.
Was it like maybe like an Asian import car, like the high pitch sound, or was it like a low sound?
It was low sound.
He said that the car that they heard speed off actually sounded like a race car.
And as police go from door to door, officers notice something that could blow the case wide open.
We apologize for waking up in the morning.
The officers realized that some of the homes in the community actually have doorbell cameras.
So, can you tell me, does your camera, does it see anything that's happening in the roadway?
There is one house that has a camera that was facing the area.
If you would just go through your footage, if you see or hear any gunshots, we would like to know about that, please. Yep, absolutely.
They're hoping the security camera captured the whole incident.
If that camera can see anything through these trees, I'll be surprised.
But when the footage is sent to detectives assigned to the case, they see more than just trees.
Homicide? I received a phone call from one of my sergeants who informed me that there was a homicide and that the neighbors had footage.
And viewing the footage, they do see a car entering the neighborhood, but they can't make out the license plate, nor do they see who's driving the car.
Despite that, the video has a story to tell.
You could hear a male yelling.
They could hear faint voices. It sounded like an argument, and then the next thing they heard were 4 gunshots.
It's an important piece of evidence.
The video gave them the exact time of the shooting, and now they have a suspect, the man whose voice they could hear shouting.
But it doesn't explain what happened.
The footage doesn't give them any inkling as to who did it and what the motive was.
However, while police are still knocking on doors, the detectives are notified of a second 911 call that was made shortly after the call reporting Shakia in the street.
They got another 911 call from a man who was completely frantic.
Location of your emergency.
I'm calling because I'm trying to find my girlfriend.
The caller said he had gotten into an argument with his girlfriend while they were on their way to pick up a friend.
They got into an argument, and she abruptly gets out of the car.
When she walked, I tried to talk to her, and she was just like, "Oh, don't even talk to me.
You please just leave me alone." He tries to follow her and convince her to get back in the car.
Next thing I know, she hops into the next car that was coming the opposite way.
He said she jumped into the car with someone else and drove off.
The caller said that he tried to follow them, but he lost track of the car.
He was very afraid that something has happened to her.
They're able to put together that this is Moses, and he is calling about his girlfriend, Shakia Smith.
Detectives investigating the murder of 20-year-old Shakia Smith have just learned that around the time of the shooting, her boyfriend called 911 requesting help to find her.
Moses Dial told the operator that he was afraid that something terrible had happened to his girlfriend.
He had no idea that Shakia was dead.
On the call, Moses explained that they had gotten into an argument after he picked Shakia up from work.
He says the argument starts when she starts going through his phone. Who's this?
A friend.
My girlfriend reads stuff on my phone, and she's just like, "Oh, why are you still texting this girl?"
Shakia gets upset with him.
Shakia is livid with this text message. She doesn't understand why he's still texting this girl, and it just spirals from there.
Shakia was drunk, yelling at him.
I'm just like, hey, chill out. I'm just talking business with this other girl. What is the problem?
And suddenly the argument escalated and became dangerous.
She becomes irate and eventually pulls out her gun.
She pulls out the gun, and I'm just like, oh, you about to shoot me now?
Shakia says no, and she tells him to just leave her alone, and she just jumps out of the car.
Moses tries to follow her and convince her to get back in the car. Don't text that other girl on your phone.
Can you please get in the car?
Can you please leave me alone, Moses? But he says from there she jumped to the car with someone else and drove off.
Does she know the person at all?
No, because we're not even from around this area, man.
Kia!
He described a dark-colored passenger car picking up Shakia getting into that car and leaving.
Moses said he tried to follow them, but it was too late.
He says that by the time he made the turn, they were long gone and he had no idea where they were.
Moses told the operator he wasn't really alarmed. At first,
Moses states this isn't new. She's jumped in the car with strangers before. She does this when she gets upset.
She'll hop into somebody's car and won't come back until about 11 o'clock in the morning.
but he said this time felt different.
I have my friend trying to look around for her too, and I try calling her mom. Mom's not answering.
During this conversation, 911 is trying to find out where Moses is. He tells them that he is somewhere on Buford Highway.
The dispatcher then asks Moses to pull over and give them his exact location so that the police could find him and help him search for Shakia.
At that moment, the phone gets disconnected.
The dispatcher tried to call Moses back several times, but unfortunately, they got hit with a voicemail that's not set up.
After listening to the recording, detectives reach out to Moses and get the same voicemail.
Sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet.
Before detectives can track Moses down, a new lead develops at the crime scene.
A mutual friend of both Moses and Shakia, Charlene James, comes to the crime scene.
Charlene told the officers working the scene that Moses Dial and Shakia were on their way to pick her up early that morning when they got into an argument.
And she confirms what Moses told the 911 operator.
Charlene says that Shakia had hopped out of Moses' car and hopped into the car of a stranger.
She hopped in a car, a black car, and they rolled up the neighborhood.
When they asked Charlene where did she get that information, she says Moses told her that.
She says that Moses told her that he tried to chase them and that he has been driving around ever since trying to find her.
I don't know how she ended up back over here, but she did. And I guess not.
Charlene says she isn't sure where Moses is now.
Charlene said that Moses had linked up with Shakia's mom, and together the two of them were looking for Shakia way on the other side of town.
She gives the police Shakia's mom's number.
Police give her mother a call and ask her to go down to the station.
When they call Shakia's mom, Moses is not with her, but she does agree to come down to the station and have a conversation with them.
Police also asked Charlene to follow them to the police headquarters.
When Shakia's mother arrives, they give her the bad news.
I'm sorry.
Despite her grief, she's determined to do what she can to help solve her daughter's murder.
Mom tells the police that she did receive a call from Shakia at 4 a.m.
I know about that.
2 hours later, Moses called her and told her that Shakia was missing.
Moses explained to her that they had an argument and she had gotten out of his vehicle and entered somebody else's vehicle and left. And he was trying to locate her.
Shakia's mother, however, isn't as trusting as Charlene.
Shakia's mom lets the officers know that she actually doesn't believe this story.
Don't trust Moses.
She feels like Moses has been trying to kill her daughter.
I know he did too much now.
The detective investigating the murder of 20-year-old Shakia Smith has just been told by her mother that she thinks Moses Dial, Shakia's boyfriend, has been trying to kill her.
Moses called her that morning to explain that he and Shakia had an argument. She had jumped out of his car and gotten into a stranger's car, and now he couldn't find her.
Shakia's mother says she doesn't believe Moses' story.
Don't trust Moses.
You don't trust Moses?
And I made that known to the police from every incident they ever had.
Shakia's mom had told me that there was some kind of domestic dispute before.
They have a volatile relationship. Not necessarily violent, but volatile.
And now she believes that Moses shot her daughter.
I know he did too much now.
Shakia's cousin Kyla was already at the station as support for her mother. So the detective speaks with her next.
Let's talk about Shakia, okay? What did you know that she was doing or who she was going to be with last night?
Kyla had actually been staying at the same hotel that Moses and Shakia had been staying in, just in a separate room.
I know she was going out, and her boyfriend dropped her off there. The last time I heard from her was like 11:58, and then after that, I went to sleep.
Kyla woke around 7 in the morning with Moses pounding on the door of her room.
He explained that Shakia was missing. Same story that he told Shakia's mom and the 911 call taker.
What's going on, Shakia?
But according to Kyla, Moses brought more than just the news of Shakia's disappearance.
Look, here's some more stuff.
In his hands, he has Shakia's personal belongings, and he's given it to Kyla.
He basically said, okay, she left me. I don't know where she's at. Here's her stuff.
At this point in the interview, Kyla hesitates.
I don't want to incriminate nobody with nothing. I just know that I smelled bleach.
You smelled bleach?
Yeah.
But she didn't just smell it.
You never actually saw like a bleach bottle.
I did see the bleach bottle. He had a knife over it. I just looked over the balcony and saw him taking it out the car.
She was very clear that she was not trying to imply that he had done anything, but she wanted to let them know everything that she had witnessed.
Growing increasingly suspicious of Moses, the detective then turns to Charlene James, Shakia's friend who'd spoken to officers at the crime scene.
So you and Shakia, you're best friends, right?
We real close.
Charlene says she was on the phone with Moses the morning Shakia was shot.
It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I wanted them to come get me. Her and her boyfriend.
Hey, give me like 15. I'll be here.
According to Charlene, the couple was not having a good night.
Shakia's friend told me that they had an argument.
Charlene could hear the whole thing.
They had an altercation. It was verbal. It was not physical.
But then the tone changed.
Right now, let me out.
Once they got to my side of town, that's when things, like, escalated. Because at that point, she wanted to leave.
Shakia asked to be let out of the car, and Moses abruptly ended the call.
Almost immediately, he calls her back and tells her that Shakia got out of the car.
Moses told her that Shakia had hopped out of the car and that she had actually got out of the car with her weapon in a bag.
She just jumped out the car and jumped in the car with somebody else.
Charlene says she'd never done that before.
They always be arguing, but it never got to this point where she hopped out the car.
She says that she absolutely believes that Shakia was intoxicated.
But getting in a stranger's car was dangerous.
Moses had reason to be concerned for his girlfriend.
She's carrying the tips that she made from the evening, so we're talking several $100s. Could that have been the motive for someone taking her life? Could it have been robbery?
The detective asks what kind of gun Shakia had, and Charlene says she's not sure.
It was a pink gun. Real pretty gun.
She doesn't know, she just knows that it's cute, it's pink, and it has little bullets.
The shell casings found at the scene were .22 caliber, and those are very small bullets. So now, detectives were thinking that maybe she was shot with her own gun.
But who pulled the trigger? The detective asks Charlene if she knows what Moses and Shakia were arguing about.
She found something in her phone.
He had seen a text message from a guy that she had cheated on him with.
Who is that?
Now that story is different than what Moses told the dispatcher.
Shortly before she was murdered, 20-year-old exotic dancer Shakia Smith had a major argument with her boyfriend, Moses Dial.
Their friend Charlene was actually on the phone when she heard them arguing, and then she heard Shakia say, "Let me out of the car."
No, pull the car right now, let me out.
Charlene James tells the homicide detective that the argument was over Shakia cheating on Moses.
Shakia had been unfaithful in the past.
She had sex with another man while Moses was out of town.
Moses was under the impression that Shakia had actually stopped seeing this gentleman.
And they had moved on from it.
Who is that?
But that night, Moses found evidence that it wasn't all in the past.
According to Charlene, they had been arguing because Moses saw something in Shakia's phone.
Apparently this text message was from that gentleman.
This the same person that she had intercourse with while her boyfriend was away.
Moses was completely blindsided.
That's the thing. He wanted it to stop, and she said it did.
Charlene speculates that she possibly ran into the guy at work.
I guess she seen him again at the club she was dancing at.
Shakia had hugged and possibly had kissed somebody in the parking lot.
Charlene didn't know that Shakia did anything with this guy that night. The text he sent her could have just been saying, "Hi," or "Good to see you again."
But Moses thought there was more to it than just some innocent messages.
Charlene says that Moses had actually confronted her about it and wanted Shakia to apologize.
Even tonight, he wouldn't give him. He wanted an apology.
Shakia is not trying to apologize, and instead she wants out of the car.
She would tell him, "Let me out the car." You know when a person get caught doing something, they gonna be mad too.
Detectives need to speak to the one person who knows what really happened. Moses Dial. If they can find him.
Moses was last seen driving around, so investigators had asked Charlene if she knew what kind of car he drove. And she told them he was driving a Dodge Challenger.
With the focus on Moses, the detectives issued a be on the lookout for both him and his car, and they subpoenaed his phone records.
The police then receive a phone call from someone named Janelle.
Homicide.
Like Shakia, she's an exotic dancer.
So you and Shakia, you both work together?
Yeah, we're friends.
Janelle says that she was supposed to hang out with Shakia and Moses the night of the murder.
I ended up going to a party,
still at work and you was supposed to be going to go get her and bring her to where I was at?
She says they never showed up.
Janelle said the next morning she heard through a mutual friend that Shakia had been murdered.
And then around 11:45 a.m., Moses started texting her.
Moses didn't say anything in his messages about Shakia being dead. Janelle said that he was just texting her like it was just any other day.
She immediately blocked his number.
One of our Bishop friends told me that 2 or 3 months ago, he said, like, he would kill her, like, ran her.
It was a consensus between Shakia's family and friends that Moses had killed her.
Why would he do that?
Because, I think it was because she cheated on him.
Detectives now consider Moses a fugitive suspect.
Detectives are convinced that Moses is on the run. They obtain a warrant for his arrest for murder.
When his subpoenaed phone records come in, they get a lead on his location.
Detectives are able to track Moses through his phone's GPS.
Moses is traveling north.
The investigators aren't sure where Moses is going, but he seems to be trying to get as far away from Georgia as possible.
By this point, Moses hadn't just left Beaufort or even Atlanta. He was completely outside the state of Georgia.
And the subpoena gives detectives more than just the phone's GPS data.
Investigators got access to Moses' phone records, which showed all the internet searches he had made.
His search history proves to detectives that they're on the right track.
Moses has searched several items of interest.
He searched what was the sentencing guidelines for felony murder.
We have the right person, the right suspect.
Moses was a con man. He tried to put himself out as a bit of a pimp. He was seeing some other girls, but that was kind of his thing. He was representing them in this way and that way, and he bought himself a nice flashy car, never made a payment. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure he finished the paperwork. He just kind of got by from one slide to the other.
Detectives in Georgia have issued a warrant for the arrest of Moses Dial for the murder of his girlfriend, Shakia Smith.
Only hours after Shakia was gunned down and left dead in the street, Moses' cell phone GPS showed him fleeing the state.
They don't know exactly where he is going.
But it's clear from his phone's search history what he's running from.
On September 18th, he searched, "What is felony murder sentence in Georgia?"
The Gwinnett County Police reach out to the United States Marshals for assistance.
The police bring in the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to locate him and bring him in.
Within 2 weeks, the Marshals do just that.
The U.S. Marshals located him in Atlantic City in New Jersey.
Moses is arrested without incident.
Put your hands behind your head. Turn around.
The following day, we traveled to New Jersey to interview him.
Detectives asked Moses if he knows why he's being questioned.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why?
It's a bit about my girlfriend, that situation.
He was very calm.
At that point, they confront Moses.
The detectives told Moses that they had audio and video from a home security camera in the neighborhood where Shakia was killed.
The electronic footage that we have of what happened, we're able to see your car pull into the neighborhood.
I told him that the incident was captured on a surveillance camera.
This is your opportunity to tell us the truth, okay?
I think he was shocked that she knew as much as she knew, and she just cornered him.
What are you thinking about?
Moses finally breaks down and he tells detectives the whole night was just so crazy because she was just so drunk and irate.
He said he picked Shakia up from where she was working in Atlanta, and they traveled down towards Beaufort.
On the way, he got a text message.
As they were going to pick up Charlene, another exotic dancer reached out to him.
Hey, what are you even mad about?
And Shakia became angry. She was convinced that Moses was seeing the woman behind her back.
I was just like, baby, you need to chill out now. You need to stop. I understand you got a little jealousy. Other females are around, but you gotta understand that it's not like I'm trying to talk to you, bro.
But he says Shakia refused to calm down.
We got into it, and it was crazy because she was drunk, and she started cursing me out.
He tells them that Shakia started hitting him while he was driving, trying to take the wheel.
Moses claims that she even shot her gun out the window.
She got me a few shots off the highway, and was like, saying I'm a hoe and all this extra stuff, things like that. Then after that, she tried to point me on my way. I'm like, yo, I'm drunk right now, you really chill.
Moses stops his vehicle and is trying to have Shakia chill, calm down.
That's when she got out of the car and I said, yo, chill out. What are you about to do? She said, she's gonna just hop in the next person's car.
Moses tells them that that's when it happened.
But Moses says he has no recollection of exactly how Shakia ended up dead.
Everything just happened so fast, to be honest with you. It's like I blacked out.
He was angry. They were arguing about one being unfaithful over the other, and they both got mad to the point where they got out of the car.
Hey, what are you doing? Huh?
I'm so done with you. Bye.
Get in the car.
Bye.
Get in the car. And why you acting like this? Huh? How are you so done with me?
I moved on.
Moved on. Okay. Okay, so your feelings got involved? Huh? Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Tell the truth.
The detectives don't know why Moses killed Shakia.
What they are clear on is that they have a confession.
Who is that?
They were arguing, and even if it was with a split second in anger, he intended to kill her, period.
Moses Dial is charged with murder. And ultimately, the prosecutor decides to offer a plea deal.
I have seen 12 people, in the face of overwhelming evidence, come back with a not guilty. So I never bet on what a jury's going to do.
Moses takes the plea deal and he's sentenced to life with the chance of parole.
In Georgia, Moses must serve at minimum 30 years before he could even start the parole process.
And he must publicly accept responsibility for what he did.
If he wanted to have any kind of life at the end, he had to admit what he did and plead guilty. And he did.
Shakia's family and friends have gotten justice, but they've lost far more.
Shakia will be remembered as someone who brought joy and laughter into the life of the individuals that loved her, that supported her, and that were blessed to have her in their lives. Moses took it upon himself to take the life of someone who all she did was love him.
Shakia had her whole life ahead of her. She just had so much going for her, and all that was cut short that night.
The bottom line is no one deserves that, no matter who they are.
A mother fears the worst when she can't get a hold of her daughter for several days.
I was ringing her bell, and she never came. So I called the police, and they came.
Inside, they find the recent college graduate dead from gunshot wounds.
She was shot in the head twice, and we only had one casing, which made us believe the person had cleaned up the scene.
Somebody's trying to hide what they did.
She's so caring. Who would do this to her?
The police search for an answer.
There are so many rumors going on, horrible rumors.
That's crazy. They just really put my name in that lounge.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here to clear up.
As a trans woman, a lot of people were interested in what was happening.
It could be a crime of passion. It could be a hate crime.
Or was it a cold-blooded murder?
This was a calculated act of violence.
You could be with somebody for a whole decade and not really know who they are.
She went to sleep trusting this person.
We were warned long ago that love is blind.
May 31st, 2022. It's Tuesday in Albany, New York, the capital of the Empire State. But there's nothing imperial about the town itself.
Albany's known as Small Albany because it's got like a small town feel. It's lots of festivals and fairs, very close-knit.
Albany's a nice area, a lot of history in this city.
But this morning, one of the city's residents, a Sid Hemingway Powell, has mysteriously gone silent.
I called her Sunday. She didn't answer, so I'm like, maybe she just wants some time to herself.
Sid was known for just dropping off the radar. Sometimes she just needed peace of mind.
But after 2 more days of silence, Jackie Powell is starting to get worried.
I kept calling her, and she's not answering her phone.
She hadn't heard from her since the 27th.
So she decides to go to her daughter's apartment.
Sid, it's Mom. Are you there?
I was ringing her bell, and she never came.
When there's no response, she calls the Albany police.
Jackie Powell called for a welfare check on her daughter.
Officers from our patrol division responded out there along with building management to access her apartment.
All these are passing. So this will get you into the world.
Just gotta sit down.
But it turns out they don't need a key.
When they got to her specific apartment, it was unlocked. It was closed, but it was unlocked.
The patrol officer tells Jackie and the property manager to wait outside.
They told me, we can't just let you in.
The patrol officer walked in. Nothing seemed in disarray or out of the ordinary. Just calling out Sid's name, trying to get some response.
Are you in here, Sid?
He goes to the back bedroom, and Sid is on her bed. She looks like she's sleeping.
But as the officer approaches her, he quickly realizes this is a sleep that she'll never wake up from.
Sid was unfortunately located deceased.
But Jackie's daughter isn't just dead. She's been murdered.
Sid had been shot in the head twice.
"30-year-old Sid Hemingway Powell had been a fighter all her life.
She don't mean any harm to nobody. She fights for love. She fights for her friends, her family.
And she did it with style.
Sid was always super outgoing and everything. She always had a lot of friends.
For Sid, the excitement never stopped.
Sid was the life of the party. Sid and I both loved to dance, but Sid would always try to outdo everyone, including myself.
Sid was like a wild child, but in a good way.
As she got older, Sid started participating in modeling shows, rapping, and performing on YouTube.
She performed under the name Chum Chum, and everybody loved it. She had a real talent for it.
And she dreamed of making a difference.
Sid wanted to change the world, and she believed that it started with you. We have to make the change.
Also a diligent student, Sid earned an associate's degree at a community college. But she wasn't finished.
She enrolled at the University of Albany. She wanted to get her degree to become a physician's assistant and then go on to become a doctor.
She wanted to help people. That was her thing.
In 2022, she graduated with a degree in biology.
Whatever challenges came her way, she was able to go beyond that because she was empowered to make a difference, not just for herself, but also for her community.
She was just amazing. She's the type of person that if you say, I'm going to the moon, she's going to read up on it. We're going to build this rocket. You can do it.
They celebrated her graduation with a party where she was surrounded by all those that loved her.
It was always just nothing but love at the end of the day.
But now,
Sid?
Only a few days after the happy occasion, Sid has been found murdered in her apartment.
Sid had sustained 2 gunshot wounds to her head.
She was beyond help.
The officer comes outside and tells her mom, Jackie, that Sid had passed away.
Did you find her?
Ma'am?
He was like, she's deceased. I just started crying.
Despite the shock, Sid's mother wants to help.
Do you have any idea who may have done something like this?
Nobody.
She was popular with all of Albany.
But Jackie Powell does tell police she was always afraid something like this might happen.
Why is that?
She was trans. This might be a hate crime.
"30-year-old Sid Hemingway Powell seemed destined for success.
She just graduated with a biology degree and was looking forward to starting her medical career as a physician's assistant.
Sid has so many goals that she wanted to achieve.
But now, after not hearing from her for a few days, Sid's worried mother has asked police to do a welfare check on her.
Albany police went to Sid's apartment and, upon making entry, located Sid, deceased. She was shot in the head twice.
Sid's mother tells the police that in the back of her mind, she'd always feared something like this might happen.
Her mother had worried about her safety because Sid was transgender.
Is that why she was murdered?
We wondered, was this going to be some kind of hate crime?
Or there could be a more personal motive.
Did somebody just not like her? We don't know what happened.
Was this an event where someone had met someone at a bar and went home and then was surprised that someone was trans? That was a fear.
As Sid's mother is taken to the station for a formal statement, homicide detectives arrive to begin the investigation.
Myself and Detective O'Donovan went to Sid's house and began to process and work the scene.
They start with the victim.
She was located in bed, covers pulled over her. She looked almost to be like sleeping.
On the left side of her bed, next to the wall, there were pillows propped up that looked like someone was just sitting on the bed next to her.
Investigators also see 2 gunshot wounds to her head.
Sid was shot in the left temple and also in the right temple.
Then, looking around the room, detectives find a single shell casing on the floor.
Somebody had taken the other shell casing, trying to hide what they did.
Detectives quickly rule out robbery as a motive.
The place wasn't ransacked. It didn't appear that money or credit cards or anything else was missing.
The one thing detectives couldn't find was the victim's phone. They suspected the killer didn't want the police to know who she'd been communicating with before she was killed.
That would reinforce what investigators suspect. Sid knew her killer.
Sid's door was not forced, and all the windows were locked. So whoever did it was allowed in there.
It had to be somebody she opened the door for and let them in.
In fact, the killer may well have been someone close to her.
In homicide cases, 2/3 of the cases that the victims are transgender, the people who end up killing are, intimate partners. Unfortunately, the apartment complex didn't have any security cameras. So there was no video that could have identified the killer.
After finishing up at the apartment, detectives returned to their office to talk to Sid's mother.
The first thing I want to ask about is, when did Sid transition?
It was right out of high school.
Sid's mother admits that at first it was hard for her to deal with the change.
I was mad, but we got around it. I accepted it. Took a little, not long, but it took a little minute for me to come around.
Eventually, Sid's whole family embraced her new identity.
Your personality doesn't change. It doesn't change who you are, the soul that you have.
Was there anybody that had a problem with Sid being trans?
No. She got along with everybody.
If you had a problem with her, that was your problem, not her problem.
But Sid's mother admits she doesn't know much about her daughter's personal life.
She was private for the most part. She really didn't talk much about her relationships.
However, Jackie says that a few days ago, her daughter had called and shared something very important about her life.
She was like, I got something to tell you. I don't want you to be upset.
She told me that she had HIV. Detectives
in Albany, New York, investigating the murder of a Sid Hemingway Powell, have just learned that not long before her death, the 30-year-old trans woman had tested positive for HIV.
She called me. She was like, Mommy, they said I had HIV.
She was like, I messed up. And I'm like, I immediately start crying.
Sid's mother tried to remain positive.
I was like, babe, you're going to be all right.
This is 2022. The advancements in medication and technology, it's been tremendous. You can live a long, healthy, normal life with this situation as long as you take care of yourself.
While HIV is no longer a death sentence, detectives do wonder if it had something to do with Sid's murder.
The biggest takeaway from Sid's apartment was that whoever killed her was allowed into that apartment and was someone that she allowed to get in her bed with her.
It was possible that her killer was a lover who had just found out about the test results, who also tested positive and maybe blamed Sid.
But Jackie doesn't know who that could have been.
My kids don't really tell me about their private life because I start asking questions. I got 100 questions.
After talking to Sid's mother, detectives interview other members of her family, hoping Sid may have confided in them.
She just wanted the same thing that every girl wants.
She wants somebody who's going to love her openly.
But for Sid, that was sometimes hard to find.
Sid's sister told detectives that Sid would sometimes date men who were on the down low, men who presented as straight to the world.
A man like that could certainly fit the profile of the killer being constructed by detectives.
If you're on the down low, if you're ashamed and embarrassed to be with this person, imagine how you'd react if they tell you they have HIV and you're at risk.
Now detectives are looking for a man in Sid's recent past. But can her family give them a name?
Rumors started flooding in and everybody started saying different names.
But there's one name in particular that keeps coming up.
Very early on, Ayer's name was being provided to us by different family and friends.
26-year-old Ayer Robinson had known Sid for quite some time.
Albany is a small city, and the Robinsons and Hemingways had a cousin or two in common, and they kinda came up near each other.
Sid and Ayer would often hang out and smoke weed, but eventually they took things to the next level.
Sid and Ayer Robinson had been together in a non-exclusive relationship for a long time.
I know about their relationship for, I think, 5 years. It may have been even longer than that.
However, those close to Ayer didn't know.
Nobody from his life at that time knew.
He has children and baby moms and things like that, whatever. It was obviously a lot more difficult for him.
Given the complicated nature of their relationship, police suspect Ayer may have been involved in Sid's murder.
Right then and there, he's a person of interest. He's somebody we're definitely going to want to speak to at some point.
But when detectives ask if they suspect Ayer had something to do with Sid's death, the family finds it hard to believe.
Sid definitely loved Ayer. She mentioned it many, many times.
Every time she talks about him, she's like, oh, but he loves me. We just, we can't be together.
And according to Sid's brother, Ayer knew about Sid's recent HIV diagnosis.
Sid told her brother that she had shared the news with him soon after she got her test results.
And though Ayer is at the top of the list of people police need to talk to, he isn't the only name on it.
According to Sid's siblings, she had been seeing another guy, someone they knew less about than Ayer.
But we actually never met the guy.
They knew him only as Big Papa.
Sid's friends and family were all aware of Big Papa, but the only person who had seen him was Sid's brother Amir, and that occurred on a FaceTime.
Can you describe him for me?
He was a white guy, older guy.
And he had money to burn.
She would ask him for stuff or whatever. He'd give it to her. That was kind of the relationship with him.
Big Papa got referred to as a sugar daddy.
He would take her to clubs and parties, and he would let her use his car when she needed to go somewhere.
But she never told you his name?
No, never.
Hoping to track down both Ayer and Big Papa, investigators subpoena Sid's phone records.
They also subpoenaed her credit card, social media, and bank accounts. Anything that might help track her movements in her final days.
While waiting for results from the subpoenas, detectives received the results of the autopsy.
The autopsy confirmed that there were 2 shots fired into her head, both at close range.
There was some stippling around the wound, and there was damage to the skin, consistent with a gun being pressed against the head and fired.
The time of death was late Friday night or early Saturday morning, sometime before 6 a.m.
But who was with Sid late that night? A call from Sid's mom provides a possible answer.
Homicide?
There is something that she hadn't mentioned that might be important.
She stated she had been with Sid a couple days prior. Sid had been FaceTiming a male in Louisiana.
His name was DJ Barnes.
They had met online. They were messaging over Facebook.
But it was more than just an online relationship.
Sid had actually bought him a bus ticket to come up here from Louisiana. DJ was going to be coming into town before the date of Sid's death.
Was he some kind of online predator?
Detectives have just learned that before she was murdered, a Sid Hemingway Powell was planning a first-time meetup with a man she met online.
Sid had been communicating online with a man named DJ Barnes, back and forth, and it was very flirtatious.
DJ and Sid had met through social media, and there was a plan for him to come to Albany to visit her.
Had DJ traveled to Albany to see Sid and then killed her?
That was another question that needed to be answered.
Maybe the meeting didn't go how DJ hoped it would. Since they never met in person, maybe he didn't know Sid was a trans woman.
When detectives get access to Sid's phone records, the first contact information they pull is for DJ Barnes.
Detective Blair conducted a phone interview with him, and he admitted to having some sort of like online relationship with her.
But he insists he had nothing to do with her death.
He said he learned about what happened through social media and that he was sad he never actually got to meet Sid in person.
He planned on trying to come up and see her, but he said it never ended up happening.
So detectives ask him about the bus ticket to Albany that Sid had bought him.
He said his boss never ended up giving him the time off, so he never used the bus ticket.
Investigators contact the bus company to confirm DJ's story.
The bus ticket was never cashed in.
Albany police were able to show that he didn't leave Louisiana.
With DJ eliminated as a suspect, detectives turn their attention to Sid's alleged sugar daddy, the man known as Big Papa.
I never met him. I never seen him in person.
But now, detectives are able to identify him.
We figured out through her phone records Big Papa's real name.
He's a 60-year-old Albany resident named Kyle Collins.
The investigators ran his name through a police database, and they found a very minimal criminal record. The worst thing was a fairly recent charge of petty larceny.
But when detectives head to the address on his arrest record, there's nothing there.
It was just an empty lot. If he lived there before, he doesn't now.
When investigators call him, though, they have more luck.
Hello? We were able to finally get in contact with him by phone, but he kept the interview very short.
What exactly was your connection with her?
According to Kyle, they talked on the phone fairly regularly, but it had been nearly a year since he'd seen her in person.
Kyle had not seen her in a while, and his reason was that Sid was too expensive for him.
What do you mean?
Kyle says that Sid liked to party and go to clubs, and that she'd ask him for money.
Look, I'm gonna ask you straight up. Did you have anything to do with her murder?
Absolutely not.
He even claims he was out of town the night Sid died. And his phone's GPS data can confirm it.
A follow-on of his phone records, he showed not to be in the area of Sid's apartment on the night she was murdered.
There was no indication that Big Papa did any harm to Sid.
But after clearing Kyle Collins, investigators get another possible lead.
Detectives were contacted by another one of Sid's friends who said she was hanging out with Sid at her apartment on the Thursday before the murder.
While she was there, Ayer Robinson came over.
What happened then?
She had asked him to go into the bedroom just to talk.
And when they came back, she could tell something was wrong.
The energy was off. She wasn't really there.
What about Ayer?
He didn't really say a word.
I'm just gonna go.
All right. Will call me later?
Oh.
When her friend finally asked what was wrong, Sid said she'd received some bad medical news.
What is going on?
I went to the doctor and they told me I have cancer.
Oh my God, Sid. I am so sorry.
Detectives know that Sid didn't have cancer, but she had recently learned that she was HIV positive.
Could that be what Sid told Ayer in the bedroom?
I don't know. Maybe.
To find out more about Sid's diagnosis, detectives contact her doctor.
After getting several HIPAA waivers and consents, we were able to interview medical staff at the infectious disease center.
A staff member says she remembers speaking to Sid when she came in for testing, and that she wasn't alone.
She came in with a guy.
She was accompanied by a black male who also requested HIV testing.
Do you remember who it was?
I can't tell you his name.
Was the man Ayer Robinson?
Ayer Robinson was seeing Sid on the low.
Could an HIV diagnosis be the motive behind the murder?
Detectives investigating the murder of a Sid Hemingway Powell have learned that when she went to a local clinic for an HIV test, she was accompanied by a black male.
The man had also been tested for HIV, but because of patient confidentiality, the clinic staff could not release his name.
Was Ayer Robinson the man with Sid at the clinic? Or was it another boyfriend investigators have yet to identify?
We'll be getting a court order to unlock the man's records.
Okay.
When detectives get their warrant, their suspicions are confirmed.
Ayer Robinson was the man who came with Sid to get HIV tested on the morning of the murder.
Was he still with her that night when she was murdered?
We had determined that Ayer Robinson was a suspect, but we wanted to keep building. We knew this was going to be a circumstantial case.
Detectives start by getting Ayer's phone records to track his movements after they left the clinic.
We're able to get where their phones were located at certain times. We're able to see if they went to nearby McDonald's, which is in walking distance to the clinic they had gone to.
They enter the restaurant and stay there for a bit, presumably having a meal together.
After that, Sid went to her apartment, and Ayer left in another direction.
We then track him all throughout the city until he goes into a corner store.
Detectives are able to track Ayer's movements until finally he returned to Sid's apartment.
Ayer came back to Sid's apartment around 8 o'clock that night. That was only minutes before Sid made her last social media post.
The data shows Ayer stayed in Sid's apartment until early the next morning, when both phones left the building.
The GPS data showed the phones traveling down the road toward the Albany airport and then stopping at a hotel.
Detectives immediately request footage for any of the hotel's exterior surveillance cameras.
The hotel was affixed with security cameras, which we were able to review. As soon as we did that, that's when it got good.
The video shows a car pull up, and a black male gets out.
He just starts smashing this phone on the ground, to the point where he actually has to take his crossbody bag off because it's bouncing so hard.
He then goes over to the dumpster and throws out the cell phone and his sweatshirt.
Investigators can't be sure that Ayer is the man in the video.
You couldn't determine who the person was, but you could tell it was a black male.
However, the investigation of the hotel ultimately yields important evidence.
Through our review of video surveillance, we're able to get a license plate to obtain a registered owner of that vehicle.
The owner is a known friend of Ayer Robinson.
Now, they didn't just have a guy who matched Ayer's description. They had a guy who looked like Ayer driving one of his friend's cars with Ayer's phone in it.
All of that circumstantial evidence is enough to obtain a warrant for Ayer's arrest.
We were conducting surveillance on Ayer Robinson's house, and if he came out, we were going to detain him.
While they're watching the house, Ayer comes outside, but he quickly spots the detectives.
He ended up fleeing on foot.
Please stop!
I hear Robinson proceeds to go in a full sprint down the street. There's a short foot chase where he discards drugs.
He's dropping something!
The chase comes to an abrupt end.
Some good Samaritan opens his car door into Ayer to stop him. Ayer Robinson is taken into custody.
After the arrest, officers searched the house where Ayer was staying.
A quantity of narcotics, along with a loaded firearm, were recovered.
But the gun is a different caliber from the shell casing recovered beside Sid's bed.
We never recovered the murder weapon. We believe it went in the dumpster, along with his hoodie and Sid's phone.
But the police find one more piece of evidence. One that could make their case.
The individual that's destroying the phone in the video surveillance is equipped with a crossbody bag.
Inside Ayer's room, they found a crossbody bag.
We believed it was the same one.
Inside, they see what appears to be dried blood.
That's our evidence.
Advancement of technology has definitely improved the ability to pursue these cases and be successful in prosecutions. This entire case relied on technology. License plate readers, street cameras, cell phone data that tracks your GPS locations. All of this information was the only way that we had a case, because without these things, I do not believe that they would have been able to backtrack and get enough information to make an arrest.
In a search of Ayer Robinson's house, detectives have found what appears to be dried blood inside a crossbody bag, seemingly identical to the one seen in security video on the man they believe killed a Sid Hemingway Powell.
Detectives believed that blood spatter got on the gun when the two fatal shots were fired.
Based on the wounds Sid had, we believe that it was a close contact gunshot. The belief was that after they shot Sid, they would have reholstered their handgun into the crossbody bag.
With Ayer in custody, the detectives are ready to confront him with what they found.
Ayer Robinson's transported down to our detective office and interviewed by Detective O'Donovan and myself.
The detectives tell Ayer that they know he's been having sex with Sid.
People told me they heard you saying you loved this person. Right.
Ayer ultimately admitted he was in a relationship with Sid.
I laid with her, I chilled with Sid, you feel what I'm saying?
But he denied testing positive for HIV the morning of the murder.
No, I didn't get no back with that.
But the detectives know both he and Sid tested positive when they went to the clinic.
It's not even supposed to be, that's supposed to be confidential.
Ayer also denies having anything to do with her death.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here to clear up.
So the detectives switch gears to the night of the murder.
So we know that you go over to Sid's house on Thursday the 26th, and you're the last person that's with her while she's alive.
I don't think I was the last one.
At any point, do you take Sid's phone?
Ayer just thought we didn't know as much as we knew.
The detectives show Ayer proof that his phone and Sid's were in the same locations after the murder.
We showed him his phone records for the night of incident.
And they tell him they have him on video smashing her phone.
And you're on video getting out of that car, throwing a phone on the ground. Do you remember any of that?
Yeah, angry because she was my phone.
Ayer also has an explanation for why he's on video throwing his hoodie in the dumpster.
I had liquor all over my hood.
Okay. He was quick on his feet with answers to stuff.
He even has an explanation for the blood found in the crossbody bag during the search of his home.
He came up with a wild story of how Sid had gotten her finger pricked at the doctor's, and she had used a tissue to stop the bleeding and gave it to him.
But there's one question he doesn't have a ready answer to.
We asked Ayer if, when he left the apartment, Sid was bleeding at any point. After about 2 minutes of silence from Ayer, he stated no.
Ayer insists he can't help them.
Bro, I need to do that to Sid, bro.
Still, after their interview, Ayer Robinson is booked on a second-degree murder charge.
New York's first-degree murder statute is not for what we would consider the more common homicides that occur. It is for somebody who kills a police officer or somebody who almost like plans like an assassination.
When Sid's family hears the news, they are thankful that it seems he is going to pay for what he did.
When I found out that Ayer was arrested, I was happy. So many murders go unsolved, especially for transgender individuals. A lot of times that we don't see the resources put behind those investigations to help actually solve those murders.
In October of 2023, Ayer Robinson goes on trial for murder in the Albany City Court.
Ayer just seemed very nonchalant, like a smug, I'm going to get away with it type of attitude.
And in her opening, the prosecutor admits she doesn't know why Ayer killed Sid.
I think Sid being a trans woman was a large factor, and Ayer maybe not being comfortable yet with admitting that he loved a trans woman. Thankfully, I don't have to prove a motive in New York. I only have to prove the elements of the crime.
Because according to Sid's family, she hadn't given Ayer HIV. It was the other way around.
Sid's literal words to me were, I need to know his results because once I know his results, I'll know where I got it from.
So according to the prosecution, receiving his positive diagnosis the morning of the murder was likely the catalyst for his actions.
Ayer gets his rapid test. So later in the day, there's a phone call to him from the health provider that says, hey, you're positive. That's the night he kills Sid.
When he went to see her that night, he had a gun in his crossbody bag.
Ayer knew what he was going to do when he went over there.
Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Okay.
He waited till Sid fell asleep.
Then he took out his gun.
The wicked truth of the matter is he shot my baby in the head. He thought she was alive and went and shot her on the other side of the head.
He gets up, picks up one of the shell casings, and he leaves.
The prosecution also shows the jury the security video of Ayer getting rid of the evidence.
He smashed Sid's phone and threw the phone, the gun, and his blood-stained hoodie into a dumpster.
Instead of disputing the evidence, the defense focuses on Sid and her lifestyle.
The defense attorney really victim shamed her in this case. He painted Sid as this promiscuous girl, as a prostitute.
They try to paint Sid in a trial as some type of sexual deviant. That's just crazy.
It's one thing to defend your client, it's another to go after the dead and shame her the way they did.
But the jury finds the evidence more persuasive than the attacks on Sid's character.
Ayer Robinson was found guilty of murder.
When the verdict came in, I was very relieved. For my first time in my life having faith in the American justice system.
And the judge imposes the harshest sentence possible.
Murder in the second degree, the maximum punishment allowable in New York State is 25 years to life.
It's a welcome relief to Sid's family.
I was just glad that we have answers, that we have a resolution to all of this, because so many families don't.
And Sid's family can take solace in the knowledge that she always lived her life with love and compassion, and without apology.
She didn't want to be seen as just a transgender woman. She wanted her transition to be second to her success in who she was as a person.
Don't worry about how people feel about you. Be you and be the best version of you.
She has so many dreams. Rapper, doctor. I used to be like, babe, what you gonna do? I'm gonna do it all, Mom. I'm gonna do it all.
Gunfire erupts in a normally quiet home in the middle of the night.
We were sleeping and we were gunshots. My daughter and her boyfriend were shot.
It's like a bad dream that you just can't wake up from.
It impacted both families in a major way.
It's just such a small town. This is something that just doesn't happen.
But is someone keeping a terrible secret?
He was obsessed with her.
She had promised him that she would get back together with him. Go home!
The things that were going on, I had no idea.
And no one could stop the runaway train that sealed their fate.
I couldn't protect him. None of us could.
She thought she had it under control.
It's no surprise that it didn't.
It's 2:30 on a Saturday morning in Orange, Texas. This border town of 20,000, just across the state line from Louisiana.
Orange is just kind of your basic, small town.
Most people know each other here.
It's a welcoming community.
But in this usually peaceful place, tragedy is about to strike the home of local mother Amanda Smith Gradnigo.
Amanda was in bed and heard something in the kitchen that sounded like somebody dropped a pan, and it just woke her up.
She knew her daughter Aaliyah and her boyfriend TJ had just come home from a trip to Houston.
She thought that Aaliyah and TJ might be in the kitchen cooking.
But after hearing 2 more bangs, she jumps out of bed to make sure everything is okay.
She realized what she thought were sounds of, pots and pans were actually gunshots. As soon as she goes out of her bedroom, she sees in the hallway TJ down on the ground. He had been shot. He is not moving. His eyes are open, so she realizes he's dead.
Amanda's maternal instincts immediately kick in.
I ran straight down the hall to her room.
She sees all the blood. Her daughter is shot in her bed.
I just kind of froze.
"18-year-old Aaliyah Gradnigo was a beautiful soul.
She was one that lit up her room.
Leah was very heartfelt. She would have many friends, and she would always give her hand out to them.
Very lovable. She never really fought with anybody. One of a kind.
And like most teenagers, Aaliyah loved fashion.
She was definitely the fly one in the family. Loved to shop. That was her main thing.
But she was more focused on her future than most people her age.
She had aspirations in life to do great things.
She was enrolled at Lamar University. She was hoping to become a dental hygienist.
The way she would go for that goal, I looked up to that. She didn't let nothing stop her.
Finding love proved harder.
Aaliyah went through a stage where men weren't really treating her right.
But all that changed in November of 2020 when she met a 22-year-old young man named TJ, or T, as his family called him.
Aaliyah and TJ met through a mutual friend. It was like an instant click. He was just for her.
T was like, we have similar taste in things. She walks like me. She dresses like me.
Aaliyah, old friends. He's just the guy version of me.
But their connection ran far deeper as the couple shared many of the same values.
TJ was a family person for sure. He spoke highly of, his mom, his sisters.
He was a joy to be around, and he always wanted to see the best qualities in every single person.
And he was very future focused, like Aaliyah too.
He was working at Lafayette Consolidated Government. He was a wastewater operator. He would test the waters for chemicals.
He was getting promotions on top of promotions, taking tests to get more certifications.
With so much in common, this young couple seemed like the perfect match.
It was a good vibe. The relationship with Aaliyah put T in a place where he felt he can be himself, his true self.
Aaliyah absolutely loved him. Just to see Aaliyah so happy just definitely made me happy.
But now, after discovering a bloodbath in her own home, Aaliyah's mother has called 911.
911, what's the emergency? We all got the gunshots and my daughter and her boyfriend were shot. Your daughter's what? My daughter has been shot.
I just remember screaming, just like, hurry, just hurry.
Is she conscious? No, she's
Operators inform Aaliyah's mother help is on the way. But the wait feels like an eternity.
It just felt like they were never going to get there.
When first responders finally arrive, they confirm it's too late for TJ.
He was pronounced deceased.
He's gone.
She's in here, hurry!
But there's still a glimmer of hope for Aaliyah.
All right, you guys back up. Then
They realized, hey, she's still alive.
she still has a pulse.
After meeting her boyfriend TJ Livings just a few months ago, 18-year-old Aaliyah Gradnigo was deeply in love. And so was he.
It's almost like he completed her.
Their relationship was match in heaven.
But now, Aaliyah's mother has called 911 after finding the couple shot inside the family home.
TJ was on the floor of the bathroom dead.
She's in here, hurry!
But Aaliyah is actually still alive.
Help me get her on the board.
They realized, hey, she might make it. Let's get her to the hospital.
The arriving homicide detective has no idea what he's walking into.
When I arrived on scene, everything's running through your mind. Was it family? Was somebody against them?
No matter what, police will need the family's help to solve the case.
I'm gonna figure out who did this.
Thank you.
We asked the family to come down to the Orange Police Department.
With Aaliyah's family in transit to the station, Detective Laughlin begins examining the crime scene.
The male victim, TJ, was deceased inside the residence in the bathroom.
There were 9mm casings found in the area.
Moving to the bedroom, the detective finds more evidence from the shooting.
Another 9mm shell casing was found in the bedroom.
It appeared the suspect entered Aaliyah's bedroom, and he shot her point blank in the head.
Investigators then found an iPhone on Aaliyah's bed, which turned out to be Aaliyah's iPhone. And they collected the phone.
Initially, the investigator sees no signs of breaking and entering.
Nothing was really out of place. There was nothing disturbed.
But when they broaden their search, things look different.
I went in the backyard, and there was an outdoor chair leaned up against the kitchen window, and it appeared as if somebody had used that chair to enter the house.
The window was open, the blinds were disturbed, and there was also dirt and grass left on the sill.
Get this chair in evidence. You got it.
They collected the chair to swab it, hoping it might lead to the killer.
With the scene wrapped, the detective heads to the station, while officers remain behind to search the neighborhood for security footage.
Home video surveillance systems are very common nowadays, which helps law enforcement out tremendously.
Is she okay? Is Aaliyah okay?
Back at the station, the detective delivers devastating news to Aaliyah's family.
They did tell us that she didn't survive.
I just remember falling to my knees, not even wanting to believe that, she wasn't here anymore.
Through their grief, the family walks Detective Laughlin through what TJ and Aaliyah did in the hours leading up to the murders.
They said they were going to go to Houston that evening to get tattoos.
Their plan was to return late and for TJ and Aaliyah to spend the night at Aaliyah's home.
Do you know what time they left?
Like 4:30?
Yeah, 4:30.
Aaliyah's mother says that on their way back, she was in constant contact with Aaliyah.
We were texting up until probably an hour before she made it home because I was trying to stay awake to wait for her.
But like most of us, you get tired. And so she fell asleep.
She says that at about 2:30 a.m., a loud noise jolted her awake.
What she would do when she gets home, she would come and wake me up, but that night she didn't.
So when she heard these bangs, she went to go investigate.
And that's when she got the shock of her life.
She saw TJ on the floor of the bathroom dead, and then went, of course, directly to Aaliyah's room. Aaliyah was shot in the temple.
It was like living a nightmare.
Though Amanda's story helps Detective Laughlin fill in some blanks, it still leaves one major question.
Was it targeted towards TJ or was it towards Aaliyah?
Do you know if Aaliyah and TJ had any enemies?
No, they were good kids.
I could have never come up with someone that could have done this.
I thought like maybe on the way back from Houston, they got in an argument with somebody on the street. Maybe someone followed them home.
I know it sounds crazy, but we were trying to figure out what happened.
I'll keep you updated with any information I receive. Let me show you.
In the meantime, TJ's family has also received news of his tragic passing.
They told my mom over the phone that T had passed away, and the detective wanted to speak to my mom.
I started screaming. It was just a shock. I felt like I wanted to throw up.
When his mother arrives at the station, Detective Laughlin is waiting to meet with her.
He proceeded to tell me what had happened. And I could tell in his eyes that he wanted to get to the bottom of it.
But like Aaliyah's family, TJ's mother is at a loss for who could have done this.
Everyone loved him.
My brother wasn't involved in anything that would warrant that.
Okay, well, let me escort you out.
Police records support the family's claims.
Aaliyah and TJ did not have a criminal record. They were upstanding, good citizens.
But the detective is about to receive an important tip about a potential suspect.
Detective. Yes.
A girl arrived at the police station who was adamant about speaking to me.
How can I help you?
She was actually Aaliyah's best friend, and she informed me that Aaliyah had an ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
He was crazy obsessed about her. His name is Manka Nelson.
Just hours after the murders of Aaliyah Gradnigo and TJ Livings, Aaliyah's friend Tammy has arrived at the station.
Tammy came to speak to one of the detectives on the case.
he was crazy obsessed.
She indicated that she believed that someone named Manka Melson could possibly be involved.
They kind of dated on and off.
According to Tammy, Aaliyah had met Manka years ago at her aunt's house.
He was a friend of Aaliyah's cousin. Aaliyah was probably around 13 years old, and Manka was probably 18 or 19 years old.
Though her friend says Manka and Aaliyah immediately clicked, Aaliyah's mother forbade her daughter from having any more contact with him.
Aaliyah's mother, Amanda, had come over to the house that day too, and she was alarmed when she saw Manka there, partly because of the age difference and also partly because she just didn't have a good feeling about him.
But Aaliyah's friend says that despite her mother's warnings, Aaliyah continued to communicate with Manka.
Teenagers, they think that everything that they do is the right thing. They're not wanting to listen to parents.
And soon, Aaliyah was seeing Manka again, in secret.
Aaliyah never told her family because she knew that they would not approve.
Just a few of Aaliyah's very close friends knew anything about it.
At first, Tammy liked Manka, but her impression of him quickly changed for the worse.
It just got so toxic.
He was controlling, but just possessive.
So Tammy was relieved when Aaliyah finally ended things with him.
She told him she was done.
Except Tammy says Manka refused to let Aaliyah go.
He did not take that well. He threatened to kill himself.
She didn't want that on her shoulders.
So she was always trying to stay in good graces with him.
But Tammy admits that became all but impossible once Manka learned about TJ.
On several occasions, Manka told her he was coming to find her and coming to take her back.
The situation came to a head one night after Manka learned where TJ lived.
One night, Manka showed up at TJ's. He was pounding on the door, demanding that Aaliyah come out. Aaliyah eventually came to the door. She refused to open it.
Go home or I'm gonna call the police. I'm serious.
Tammy says Aaliyah hoped that would be the end of it once Manka realized she had actually moved on.
You okay?
She thought she had it under control and that he wouldn't do anything to hurt her.
Though now, Tammy is all but certain Manka is responsible for her friend's murder.
In her heart, she felt that he was the only person who could actually even be in consideration of this.
And did he know where she lived?
For sure.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'll show you out.
When the detective pulls Manka's record, he seems like someone capable of this kind of crime.
He had charges of second-degree murder and armed robbery. Somehow those charges were dropped, but that obviously creates a red flag for police.
But when the detective brings up Manka's name with Aaliyah's family, they seem taken aback.
Aaliyah's mom didn't know about the relationship. Neither did her sister.
It just kind of threw me off because I hadn't heard that name in years. My nephew and him, they were friends, but never in a million years would I've ever thought that this would ever have happened.
And TJ's family has never heard of Manka.
Aaliyah's family knew who he was, but we had no clue.
I'm just baffled. I have 1,000,001 questions.
Manka is now considered the police's prime suspect, but there is still no proof he committed this double homicide.
There's no real evidence.
Detective.
But there may be some in the surveillance footage recovered from the Gradnigo's neighborhood.
I received information from another detective that he had obtained video footage of her and TJ pulling into the house. And a few minutes later, a white 2005 Buick LeSabre passes by the front of her house very slowly. It had a dark tinted windows. Goes down a block, and then we see a male subject walking toward the house.
In Orange, Texas, the detective investigating the murders of Aaliyah Gradnigo and her boyfriend, T.J. Livings, have identified a suspect, 24-year-old Menka Melson.
Her best friend told me he was obsessed with her.
Police have also uncovered surveillance footage from the Gradnigos' neighborhood on the morning of the crime. But could it prove Menka's guilt?
The man in a hoodie and some sweatpants goes around to the side of the home, which would be where the window is.
A few minutes later, we hear a gunshot.
So we know that Aaliyah was shot first because it was a single gunshot.
And then 30 seconds later, we hear 2 gunshots.
Those are going to be the shots that he fired when he murdered TJ.
A minute and a half later, we see a male subject running back toward where that 2005 white Buick LeSabre was parked. And then we have video footage of that car leaving the neighborhood at a very high rate of speed.
But the footage isn't clear enough to confirm the shooter's identity.
You can make out a person, but you can't tell who it is.
Nonetheless, because the suspect's stature and race match Menka Melson's, he remains a target of the investigation.
I have got to go find this Menka Melson guy.
The detective starts with Menka's mother's home in nearby Benton, Louisiana.
When I got there, knocked on her door, she instantly just started crying.
Menka had called her recently, and he was upset. He was really hurt about hearing about Aaliyah's death.
She said, he told me he didn't do it, and this and that, and I told him to go to the police.
I tried to get him to go to the police to clear his name.
And how did he respond?
He said he wouldn't go.
And he actually hung up on his mother.
Since then, she'd been trying to reach him.
She tried to call several times, he wouldn't answer.
So you don't know where he is right now?
I don't.
Okay, well, if you hear anything, please let me know.
Luckily, the detective has gotten another lead from Benton police.
I contacted a friend of mine over there and asked him if he was familiar with a Menka Melson, and he said absolutely, and he said, I'm pretty sure I know where he's staying. So I ended up going to a house in Benton and met with the residents who lived there.
Jimmy Ballard tells police that Menka had been staying with him the past few weeks.
They were friends from school?
He said that he didn't have anywhere to stay, and he'd been staying with him.
When asked whether he saw him late Friday night or early Saturday morning, he confirms he did.
About 3 a.m., he came into the house.
Although Jimmy says he went to bed shortly thereafter, a call about Aaliyah's death woke him around 5 a.m.
So Jimmy went into Menka Melson's bedroom and woke him up.
What's up, man?
He said he was still fully clothed, which he said was very odd.
Do you remember what he was wearing?
Yeah, a hoodie and sweatpants. Aaliyah's dead. She was killed.
The same outfit as the man who was seen on the Ring doorbell camera.
What? Yeah.
According to Jimmy, Menka seemed disturbed by the news of Aaliyah's death.
He got up, he smoked a cigarette, and was pacing back and forth.
I gotta go. Why? Did you have something to do with this? No, why would I?
He packed a few of his things, not much, and left all of his belongings there at the house.
He's like, if you didn't do it, why are you leaving?
If you didn't, just go to the cops, man. Clear your name. I just gotta go.
Jimmy was aware of Menka and Aaliyah's breakup.
He was upset about Aaliyah he'd been depressed and not really himself.
But he never suspected he was so upset that he would harm her.
Why's that?
Because Aaliyah wasn't his only girl.
Manka Melson had all the women he wanted. He had girlfriend after girlfriend.
But when police asked Jimmy what Minka was driving the night of the murder, it's another strike against him.
He'd been driving a motorcycle, but a week prior, he got in a major motorcycle accident. Now, he was driving a 2005 white Buick.
The description matches the vehicle on the surveillance camera.
So the police step up their search for Minka.
The minute that we started looking for him, we started receiving good information. There was a lot of people coming forward.
Then on January 25th, 2 days after the murders, the detective gets a surprise call from the suspect himself.
Homicide.
He said he heard that I wanted to speak with him. And I said, absolutely. I said, I'd love to speak with you. And so he said, I'll be at the police station in a little bit.
We've been looking to talk to you.
On January 25th, after contacting the lead detective in the murder investigation of Aaliyah Gradnigo and TJ Livings, suspect Manka Melson tells police he's coming in to give a statement.
I asked him where he was, and of course he wouldn't tell me.
Nonetheless, at 3:30 in the afternoon, Manka arrives at the station, true to his word.
Really appreciate you coming up here on your own, talking to me.
Minka immediately informs the detective that he knows he's their primary suspect.
I've been told that I killed my ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend.
He also knows their recent breakup makes him look bad.
I was depressed and stuff like that because, you know, I understand this is the person that I'm in love with.
But he insists he would never harm her.
He tells Laughlin that Aaliyah was the love of his life.
Go home or I'm gonna call the police.
Not at any point in time I ever threatened her, no nothing.
In fact, Manka insists his pain made him turn inward.
I threatened to take my life because I was sad. Yeah. You know, I was hurt. Right.
That's when the detective brings TJ into the conversation.
Did you know she was dating somebody? Yeah, we talked about this.
Though he admits he was jealous at first, he says Aaliyah quickly eased his fears.
She had promised him that she would get back together with him.
Why would I take her life if she told me we were going to be back together?
Besides, he insists that through it all, they remained friends.
I talk to her every day.
The date of the incident, did you talk to her?
Yes, sir.
Manka says that Aaliyah told him she was going to Houston.
That they were going to get tattoos.
Who was they?
She said her and her cousin. She didn't tell me until after the fact that, you know, that she was with her boyfriend.
The detective then asks Manka where he was the night of the murders.
He said he drove to Beaumont about 9 o'clock and met up with a girl that he identified as Jasmine, somebody he was saying. Then he drove toward Houston. I asked him, what were you going to do in Houston? And he said, I was going to sell my car to a guy.
But he claims that the buyer stopped responding to his calls.
So he said he stopped him. He turned around in Baytown.
After that, he says he went home and talked on the phone to Jasmine.
They were chatting until he fell asleep.
He also insists that he doesn't even know where Aaliyah lived.
You've never been to her house? Okay.
Of course, this conflicts with what Aaliyah's friend Tammy already told them.
And when they ask him what vehicle he drives, Manka looks even more guilty.
I had a car. What kind of car was it? I had a white Buick.
He ended up telling me that he had sold this vehicle 2 days after the homicide.
Stupid fellow, some chick from Houston. I don't know her name.
That's when the detective puts Manka on the spot.
I had a picture of Aaliyah, and I slid that picture across the desk in front of him. He never made eye contact with that picture. The minute that I saw that, I knew that we had the guy.
So he confronts Minka with their evidence.
Have you ever heard of Ring doorbell system?
I started asking him some more questions, maybe a little bit harder questions that he didn't want to answer.
I'm not under the ring. No. I'm not under the ring. I just want to. You do not want to discuss this anymore?
It was a sick feeling having to let him go, but I knew that there was more evidence to get in order to have a sealed case to give the families closure.
So Detective Laughlin keeps pushing.
Yes, so is Jasmine there?
I ended up contacting Jasmine, the girl that Mank had been dating.
Do you know a young man named Minka Melson?
She shared that they met on Tinder and they have been hooking up for several weeks.
Did you see him the night of January 22nd?
She's responding, yes. He'd come up there to her work for about 20 minutes. She said that he was driving a 2005 white Buick LeSabre and that he was wearing a hoodie and sweatpants.
The same exact clothing that was in the Ring doorbell camera.
Did you talk to him again after that?
She said that she got on the phone with him about 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:05, and she said that they pretty much fall asleep on the phone together, but she said that she hadn't heard from him since.
The police also make headway locating Minka's car.
The detectives were able to determine that he had in fact sold his car in Vinton.
It was in the possession of one of his friends that he hangs out with, and she had bought it.
Obviously, he lied to the police about who he sold it to because he didn't want them to find it.
It had a window tint across the windshield, so we could match that car up with the car that we saw in the pictures.
If you're trying to end the relationship, sometimes you have to do a clean break, and that's cutting off all communication. Essentially, you're taking back your power and also putting yourself first. Because if we allow the manipulation to continue, then essentially you could put yourself in danger or in a situation where things might not end up so well.
Investigators in Orange, Texas have just located murder suspect Minka Melson's car and determined it's the same Buick seen in the crime scene footage.
It had a lot of aftermarket features to it that set it apart from your average, Buick.
And Detective Laughlin has also gone through Aaliyah's phone, which revealed a treasure trove of evidence.
They found a text thread between Aaliyah and someone who was identified in her phone as Allison. And they were able to determine that the phone number that was associated in the contacts with Allison belonged to Minka Melson. In between December 2nd of 2020 and the night of the murder, there were approximately 10,100 text messages between Minka Melson and Aaliyah. Sitting down and reading those from start to finish is like reading a horror novel.
The messages make it clear that if Aaliyah was once in love with Minka, the tides had clearly shifted.
It is obvious that Aaliyah is trying to distance herself from Minka Melson.
But Minka had no intention of letting her go.
He's talking about how she doesn't respond to him.
He's wondering where she was, wondering what she was doing, wondering what she was wearing. He was on her constantly.
And his text messages to Aaliyah only get more disturbing.
He's like, I've got a gun right now. I'm gonna kill myself if I can't be with you. Of course, in the meantime, we know that he had other girlfriends. So this was a control thing.
Through it all, Aaliyah tried to keep him at bay.
I could tell by reading these text messages that she's playing a defense game with him.
She's telling him she loves him, we'll be together again someday. That was the only mechanism that she really had to deal with this.
She really thought she could control it, but it was bigger than her. It makes me sad that she couldn't talk to me. That's the hardest part.
Equally tragic, it's unlikely TJ ever knew he was in imminent danger.
While TJ may have heard Minka's name or known about him, police don't think he had any idea about the real role he played in Aaliyah's life.
Who's that?
Aaliyah didn't share this really with anybody.
To find out that your family member is gone and it's a result of a situation that he wasn't aware of, it's just very difficult.
The police now have enough evidence to nail Minka. More is yet to come.
The person who entered the home took an outdoor patio chair and placed that chair up against the window.
We were able to get some DNA off of the chair that we were able to link Minka to.
On April 29, 2021, police obtain an arrest warrant for Minka Melson on charges of capital murder.
We had located him where he was staying, so we surrounded the area. And then at that time, we called him out on a microphone, and it maybe took 4 or 5 minutes. He eventually came out, got on his knees, and we were able to place him in handcuffs.
For the families, it's been a long time coming.
When the arrest was made, it was definitely a huge relief off of our shoulders.
I commend all of them for doing what they did.
On February 14th, 2022, when Minka's trial opens, the families face the defendant in court.
Minka Melson was very unemotional, very cold.
The trial was really, really hard. Just seeing him sitting there with no kind of emotion.
In their opening statements, the prosecution describes Minka's motive as cold but simple.
He felt rejected and was unable to process that in a healthy way. And so that ultimately led to his actions of taking both of their lives.
Prosecutors know that on the night before the murder, Minka had the means to follow Aaliyah.
That evening, they were sharing their locations.
And cell phone tower information proves he was on her tail leading up to the shootings.
She and TJ, they were over in the Houston area, and around 9 o'clock in the evening, he sets out for Houston.
Though he told detectives he had turned around in Baytown, that was untrue. He had went all the way to Houston.
The whole time, he and Aaliyah are texting, and he knows she's at the tattoo shop with TJ. And they finish up at the tattoo parlor and turn around and head home. He follows them.
But at 1:41 a.m., when Aaliyah and TJ entered her family's home, they had no idea Minka was right behind them.
Aaliyah goes on into her bedroom, and TJ went to take a shower.
A short while later, Minka entered the home through the kitchen window.
He went first to Aaliyah's bedroom, where she laid in the bed, probably asleep. He shot and killed her. And then, as he's coming back out, that's when he shoots TJ twice in the neck area, kills him, and then goes back out the window that he came in.
The evidence against Minka is overwhelming.
This was probably the most sewed up, tightly run trial that I've ever participated in.
So it's no surprise when on February 18th, 2022, the jury returns with a verdict of guilty on both murder counts.
Upon his conviction, he was automatically sentenced to life without the possibility of parole.
While Aaliyah and TJ's families are grateful, no punishment can make up for the loss of these two beautiful young people.
Justice was served as far as the law goes. Yes, but it doesn't change the outcome. T is still gone. Aaliyah is still gone. That pain stays. It hurts every single day.
We're forever gonna have that missing piece to the puzzle for our families, and it's just not fair at all. I have so much anger, because he has taken away two important people.
Today, knowing that Aaliyah suffered in silence remains painful for both families.
It was heartbreaking as a mother to know she was dealing with so much. I don't know if I could have prevented it, but we could have been more prepared.
If you are in the position that Aaliyah was in, you may be scared, or you think that no one cares, or no one can help you, but you won't know if you don't try. Aaliyah's family loved her. We loved you, without a doubt. If one word was said, just maybe, we could